All right, Kayla, thanks for chatting
Yeah.
with me today.
Yes.
I'm really eager to hear from you this way. We've talked a little bit back and forth just via messages, but I'm really excited to have a conversation with you about your experience in multiple rounds of HBA, and more specifically, how it has shown up in your life now and some of the things that you're utilizing, how it's helping, all the things. So, first, tell me a little bit about you. What are you doing? All of the things that you're juggling. Let us know who you are.
Yeah. Okay, so hi, I'm Kayla. I'm 29. I'm a mom of two girls. My oldest is 5.5. My youngest will be 4 next week.
Me.
Um, that's weird to begin with. And then I was in the Navy for a little bit, and then I was doing nutrition coaching and personal training and just, navigating a lot of big changes all at one time. And now, you know, I'm here mostly a stay-at-home mom and building a business for myself and also navigating that change and trying to like not show up feeling like a chicken with my head cut off most days and
Relatable.
like actually wanting to remember like my kids at this size and this age and all of the things and funny stuff that they do. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that was,
I
yeah,
like it. The chicken with your head cut off feeling
literally.
is so real. I remember we first started talking before I had my daughter, so I was hearing a lot of the like, you know, parenting situations from you, and now I think about those conversations a lot as I'm navigating my own experience. But what initially drew you into HBA? What about it? You're not allowed to say me. You're not allowed to say that we worked together before. What
Oh,
about the actual program itself did you see and you're like, you know what? I feel kind of like a chicken with my head cut off right now. This might be the thing that helps me.
yeah.
Anything stick out?
Um, Having worked with you previously aside, I knew I needed a different form of support because I felt so stuck in everything. And you know, sure, I wanted workouts, I wanted like nutrition help, but that I knew wasn't my actual issue. It was the fact that I've started and stopped so many different things, so many different times. I never learned how to support myself in sticking to, the routine that would help me get to my goals with whatever, anything, any part of my life.
Yeah.
And I was just really sick of fucking procrastinating so freaking hard over the smallest shit,
Yeah.
like, and letting myself, like sit in that like chaos of motherhood and like that's where I had to be because I was solo parenting all the time because my husband was gone for work and I had two under 4, two under 5. Excuse me. Blah blah blah. Like I would let everything stack up and just stare at that stack of things against me that I didn't know how to work through and I knew I needed more tools and like a better understanding and support system than just like here's macros and workouts and
Yeah. Never works.
stick to it better next time.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest things when I created HBA was really trying to get people to understand like this is not a health and fitness program. I know it has the word healthy in it, but really what I find and what I'm hearing from you is like we as working moms, we can have the best intentions in the world for the goals that we have and the ways that we want to support ourselves, but then by the time it comes to actually doing those, our capacity to do it is not even at zero. It's at like negative 30. It's
Yes.
like there's a hole that we have to figure out a way to crawl out of to even feel like we are at square one. And that was one of the biggest reasons I experienced that early on postpartum. And I'm like, okay, now I know what these women actually need because this is what helped me. So yeah. So with HBA, you've gone through multiple rounds now.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of the OG taste, which is amazing, right? You also got a little bit of the most recently updated round, which chef's kiss, in my
It
opinion.
is.
It really is chef's kiss, in my opinion, right? I took all the, hey, this is great, and just, hey, how can we like push the needle, make it a little bit better? But I want to know because I'm seeing you share on your stories. Um, and I think I want everybody else to know from your perspective. So, how has HBA shown up in your day to day when it comes to the very common like mental traps that women like us fall into of I'm so overwhelmed. I have all of these things stacked against me. I don't even know where to start. Or, holy crap, I've been go, 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 go all the time. And now I don't know how to turn off. So, how have you been able to take the experience of HBA, what you've learned, the tools and strategies, and plug them into your life? What have you seen?
I definitely notice what like less procrastination, but more in the sense of I'm like, just try. What happens if you just start it? And that helps in like the whole scheme of things, like running the house. But I noticed more so with like interactions with my kids and my husband, and then even like myself and like my self-talk, is I'm a lot better at pausing and putting a little bit of space between like what's happening and like the reaction I want to have, which is to be like kind of an explosion. And
Yeah.
it's like, wait, like dial it back a notch, like what happens if you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of looking at it with more curiosity all the way around instead of just, what the fuck, man? Like
Yeah.
wanting everything to be such a structured and strict way in my brain. And like, why aren't you following this and allowing it to just like, okay, like take a breath and like release the reins a little bit because you controlling it just makes you more angry because it's not working. But then what happens if you do it this way? What
Mm-hmm.
happens if you try something else the next time? And I really think like another really great part of it is getting those messages like in the morning. And even if, don't listen to them first thing in the morning, you come back to listen to them, come back to listen to all of them. Excuse me. And like it's such a good little like refresher and reminder
Mm-hmm.
throughout your day of like, hey, wait, here's this little pause, and it's exactly what your brain needs and what you need to hear to like kind of shift the tone of your day and like
Yeah.
not like backslide almost, I
Mm-hmm.
think is the word I want. Yeah.
It's the tiny little efforts that we talk
Mhm.
about, right? It's the tiny little shifts. I love what you said about like releasing the reins and releasing the control because I also notice with not just like the women that have come into HBA, but just in the what has it been 5 years that I've been coaching women that we can identify that we are trying to have or trying to like maintain so much control. Like we can identify that like we're control freaks and that's our problem. But where most women get hung up is when they try and shift out of that, it doesn't feel safe to them. And so that pause that you're mentioning, that noticing, what I love about it is that's what starts to create the feeling of safety to your point of like I can release the reins a little bit because it's one thing to say I'm going to let go of control and it's another thing to actually let go of the control and not feel like you're going to internally combust while you're doing it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the biggest difference, and that all comes down to a lot of what you've talked about and just some of the things that you've been sharing. Direct, simple, to the point nervous system work. It can be very overwhelming to do those types of things, so it's just been really cool to see you openly talk about it because the way that you openly explain it on your stories, I'm like, she gets it. She gets it. She can explain it to other people. Like, she gets it. She gets it. Like, it's
I've told so many people, I'm like, dude, listen to this. I heard this morning from my coach. And I'll tell them like the blurb. It was something, the addiction to overwhelm was one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one was like, there was another one about stress and not taking the time for yourself or something like that from the last round.
Yep.
And I like spewed it to my friends. I was like, dude, you have to listen. Like, hear what she just said. And
Yeah.
they're like, ouch, why is she calling me out? And I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a loving call out. It's to get you
Yeah.
guys to the biggest thing that we have to do to interrupt patterns is to become deeply familiar with those patterns, right? And we kind of have to get to the point where we're frustrated enough with them, like, man, I'm so sick of this shit. It's usually the frustration that motivates the change, that fuels the change, alongside the right tools and strategies, because not every tool and strategy is going to work for everybody else either. I think one of the other things I noticed you share on your stories, this was a couple of days ago, you were talking about your workflow and just how you knew to balance the like hyper focused in on work mode and then okay, let me shift out of it for a second, and just seeing you implement that and then be able to regurgitate it to your audience. I was like, oh, like this is it's so cool to see that, because it takes women from not realizing their potential to just, I don't know, like tripping into it per se, just by listening to a couple audios in the morning, right? So yeah, I love it. It's just been really, really cool. I wanted to do this with you because just watching the things that you share and actually seeing it change you. I This is me when I'm watching your stories. Yeah, yeah, literally. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is her. She's getting it. So it's just been really, really cool. So last
Awesome.
couple questions I have is I know one of the biggest reasons why women I talk to that know they should do HBA and they want to, they're like, oh man, this sounds like really cool, but they stop themselves, is because it feels like another thing on their already very maxed out, heavy AF folding plate of responsibilities. So I wanted to hear from you. Maybe they'll listen to this or hear you say it. Like, if that was someone that you knew and you knew that HBA would help them, what do you think that they would need to hear or believe about your experience in the program to kind of fight that belief around, hey, it's too much, I don't have the time to do it? Because I mean, I designed it in a way that it's for the most overwhelmed, stressed out people. That's exactly why it's delivered and done the way that it's done. So just wanted to hear your perspective on that. What would you say to them?
I'm attempting to not cry.
Oh,
Um, because that was me. And dude, like, you owe it to yourself. Forget your kids, husband, work, everything else for a minute. You owe it to yourself to be able to show up present in your body without worrying about what the fuck you have to do for the rest of the day, about why your X, Y, and Z aren't lining up with work, and understanding how to move through the things that give you so much stress and so much of a block in your day where you're not present and you're disassociating or you're doom scrolling or you're sitting there rage cleaning to distract yourself from, the emails you need to send or the not dumpster fires, but been made to be your problem
mhm.
emails that work BS that you're getting. From there, you owe it to your kids and your house because I never understood this until I had kids about, you set the tone of your home. And as frustrating as that can be sometimes, their kids, they don't understand how to set that tone. It's up to us as their mom to lead that example. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I say sorry to my kids like 15 times a day because
Yeah.
I will still snap. But it's not the explosion. It's not the constant, you know, all the noises, the doggy tippy tappies. It's not as overwhelming as it used to be. And every single time I find a new lower level to be at for like my baseline. You owe it to yourself to be able to look back and remember being present with your kids, even in life's stressful moments.
Yeah.
It's not to say that like big things won't happen or anything like that, but finally understanding how to handle stuff better when I would have sat on my couch and doom scrolled for a good month
Mm-hmm.
over some of the things that have happened and like actually being able to manage it and like have a clear enough steps to move through it and come back to like not completely regulated, but like somewhat regulated so I can have a clear train of thought is life-changing
Yeah. It's
in
a,
no uncertain terms.
yeah, I mean, no, it really, that's what I try and explain. You did a great job of explaining it. It's getting that control back that we lose sometimes. And to your point, you set the tone for your house. I like to use the word climate. Like you are responsible for the climate of your home, and it's not ever to shame um women and mothers that maybe are struggling, right? Like I think I sometimes struggle with that too. It's like I don't want to shame people or make them feel bad if they're not doing anything about it, but it's to bring awareness around the absolute privilege it is to be that type of force and be that type of energy for your family. Yeah, it's felt. My daughter's attitude changes the minute mine does. So yeah, it's one of my clients also, to your point, you mentioned like just being able to handle those really stressful moments and come back to the place. But it's not to say that those stressful moments go away forever. One of the things that her and I have said back and forth all the time that HBA does a really good job at helping people realize is that everything changes, but nothing changes.
Mhm.
Nothing in your life changes. HBA is not
Yeah.
going to get rid of your responsibilities and your stressors. You're still going to have the normal stressors, but everything about how you are experiencing those stressors, everything about how you or what you make those stressors mean about you, everything about those stressors and the way that you walk through them changes,
Yeah.
even though nothing else really changes. And
And that's
that's the coolest thing about it. Yeah. So, well, thank you. I really, really appreciate you. I'm excited to have you for the rest of the year. There's a
I
lot.
know, I'm so excited. And
I
next year.
know. Yeah. There, yes. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm plotting some big things. I'm, um,
Always.
I'm making some big moves in massive silence over here, so I'm very excited about that. But I really, really appreciate your time today, and I know that even just one person will need to hear this conversation, and that's truly what matters. So,